Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest session of MicroStrategy Connect. If you haven't tuned in before, Connect is our series where we get to sit down with our experts across the board to talk technology. And this time we're doing things a little bit differently. We're really excited about it, but we're going to be responding to some of the top questions and comments from the MicroStrategy community. So even some questions that the product team has received directly by email, we're going to go through all of those, but we're sourcing questions to make sure your product answers are ready to go. And we are hearing you, we're ready to answer. And to help me with this, we have an amazing group of experts with us today. We have some from product management and sales engineering, and I'm so excited to have you all here. We have Nida and Morgan joining from headquarters, and we have a special guest, Marta, one of our PMs from Poland, who actually is here for the week. So I'm pumped. So we're going to start with introductions, and I'll hand it over to Nida. Let's get us started.
Thanks all, Holly, and thanks for having us here. Hi, everyone. My name is Nida Imtiaz, and I'm a product manager here at MicroStrategy. Currently, I'm driving the HyperIntelligence and Augmented Experiences roadmap here. Over to you, Morgan. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I do want to introduce myself. Hi, guys. My name is Morgan Patterson. I am one of the solutions engineers here on the MicroStrategy team, and I work for our federal customers. So really my job is to build out different demonstrations of kind of the technical possibilities of our product and really help our customers be as successful as possible with some of the new functionalities and just the MicroStrategy platform in general. So excited to be here as well. Marta?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Marta Petruchuk, and as Holly said, I'm here only for a week. Normally, I'm stationed in Poland, and I'm responsible for all Python features and migration, so new object manager workflows to Workstation. And I'm very happy to be here today with you.
Amazing. All right. And remember, guys, we will get to the technology and we will get to your questions throughout the session. So make sure to put any questions in the chat. We will answer them. But if you've watched previous sessions, we do start with a lightning round. So let's get started with a few fun questions just to get to know you all. So who is your favorite musician?
Nida's got it. This will start.
I was actually telling my friends here that, I'm very nervous about this question because I have a long list of musicians, but I would say Coldplay and Glass Animals. I think those are my top two right now. Yeah. And what about you?
I'm going to have to go with Justin Timberlake, the greatest artist of our generation. If we're giving two, I'll also say NSYNC, which Justin Timberlake was in. So I'll say both of those.
Good one. Okay, I will change a little the vibe because I'm more into rock and metal mostly. So I would say my all-time favorite is Linkin Park. And close second, let's say Rammstein. The concert was lately in Poland, so I'm still feeling the vibe. I couldn't go, unfortunately, but I was in one, and it's amazing.
Nice. All right. Favorite place to travel, either in the US or abroad? So let's go opposite. Let's start with Marta on this.
Okay. I think anywhere in Scandinavia will do. I love how connected to nature you feel when you're there and how peaceful it is and so clean, really. It feels amazing. So anywhere there.
Nice.
Morgan?
I recently went on a trip to Ireland, and as a redhead, I felt very at home. And so it was cool to connect with my kind of culture and just explore a place that I hadn't been before. Also had really great weather there, which is not, I don't think, super normal for Ireland. But that was definitely one of my favorite trips so far. So definitely want to go back someday.
Nice.
So if I had to pick in the US, I would say national parks. I still have a long list remaining, and I would want to do those. And abroad, I would say somewhere in East Asia, like Thailand, Bali. Those are some of the places that I really want to visit.
Nice. Awesome. All right. And if you're just joining us, we are in the middle of our lightning round, about to get into the technology. So third lightning round question, what is your favorite MicroStrategy product?
Wow. It's easy, Workstation. I used to work with our legacy tools, but I love how we can put all of them into Workstation and make them better. And actually, the interface of Workstation, how you can see the smart view and just see all of the items that you have. And it's adjust it to whatever work you do, how you see the sections and what you can do. I just love it, really.
Love it.
So fun fact about me, not that anyone asked, but I used to be on the product management team as well. And one of my products was distribution services. And I still have a very soft spot in my heart for distribution services. So that's MicroStrategy's basically subscription engine that allows you to deliver content on a scheduled basis, either time-based or event-based. I think there's a lot of really awesome use cases that I've seen since transitioning over to the solutions engineering side of things. So distribution services will always be near and dear to me.
Nice. That's a good one too. I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. It's HyperIntelligence because I've been working on that product for almost 4 years. But my second top product would be Library because I think it's such a modern way to consume content, and I think our customers should definitely adopt it. It's a very innovative solution for content consumption.
Love that. Yeah. And a fun fact about me, yeah, I love library. So everyone here has at one point been in charge of a product at one point. So you're going to get some good answers. All right. Question number 4, in office or virtual?
I like working virtually because I have a dog, so it's easy for me to finish the job and just go for a walk with her. But I love going to the office when everyone's there just to connect with people, just talk. And it's amazing how much stuff you can actually do when you connect to the person that you may need something from in the office. Like, hey, you know what? I was just working on something. And they were like, yeah, I wanted to talk to you. And there is not always time that you can connect virtually because of the meetings or everything. And then you just go grab a coffee and then you can have a quick chat with everyone. So you get to know them. And at the same time, you can work together on something. It's amazing, really. So I think it's like hybrid for me.
Nice.
I think I'll also go with hybrid. I got to say, I got a lot more sleep over the pandemic because I was getting to wake up at like 8 a.m. instead of having to wake up at some much earlier hour and drive through Washington, D.C. traffic to get to work. But I definitely do miss, being able to be in person and having those connections that Marta was talking about. So a little bit of both is probably the best combo for me.
Yeah, completely agree with both of them. Hybrid environment, more flexibility. I mean, for me right now, whenever if I want to, stop by the office and meet or hang out with my coworkers or, grab a cup of coffee or even, have a meeting, I would want to do that at any point of time. And if I want to stay at home and work, I would also want that. So yeah, more flexibility in the, in the work environment would something I would prefer that. Yeah.
Love it. All right. So again, if you're just joining us, we just finished our lightning round. Audience, if you want to comment what you prefer in office or virtual. We'd love to know. But now let's get into the technology. So we're going to be reviewing questions from all over, like we told you. So ideas from community, questions we saw, even emails that the product team has gotten directly, some from Twitter. We're really going to go over our top 10 that we were excited about. And one of the first ones is actually related to Nida's favorite product, right? So HyperIntelligence. And it was, can you color hypercards based on a metric?
Yes, you can. And that is called, or what we call is hypervision. So what you can do really here is that you are coloring the metric based on a threshold. So you're adding a condition on a metric, and the color of the metric basically influences the color of the card, which is the header of the card. And then that influences the underline color or the highlight color on your client application, that is on your browser and also on your mobile apps, wherever it is. So this is basically done for you to grab your attention to the most important and critical items of your business. So if you're looking at a long list of items, it's basically a waste of time for you to go over each one of them, because if it doesn't need your immediate attention. So whenever something is red or critical or whatever color you signify as critical, that would be, that is something that you can hover over, understand the information, consume the content, and then click on the links to jump to those applications to, analyze it further. So this is a very powerful feature because, we are basically letting you choose what you need to, put your time on rather on the things that don't need your immediate attention.
Got it. And then Nida, this example that we see on the screen looks like it's for a retail use case, but do you see any other use cases for hypervision?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at, for example, employee performance, or you're looking at employee retention, or things like even sales, like product sales, which products are not really selling that much in your in your shop.
Organization,
Like if things are not selling that much, those would be red. That means the revenue or the profits for that product would be really low. If it is lower than, for example, $50,000, then you can mark it as red. So that's a red alert. You will hover over it. You'll understand why it's low, and you can kind of work on more marketing strategy and things like that, like next steps on how to sell that product better. So that's one example I can think of right now.
Yeah, and I think it's just really awesome that Hyper does now have that threshold, because it allows for that seamless and actionable insight to be delivered to that user. So a really great feature there. All right, number 2 is we saw an idea, and that was for transaction services for Dossier. If you tuned into the last Connect, you know that we just released it. So let's get into that a little bit. Can someone tell us about transactions in Dossier?
Yeah, so it's actually a new feature that we have, and we do enable transactions in Dossier. Right now, they are transactions in grid, and I have a video for you to show you how it works. Whenever you have a dossier, you just can edit it, and in editable mode, in this free dot menu that you have on your grid, you can configure transactions, and it's very simple. You just click on it, and then you have the option to either import, insert, update, or delete data. Then you're choosing the data source and the tables that you want to alter with your actions. And then you do the mapping between the columns of the table and metrics or attributes from your grid. It's super easy, and you can see it in this mapping mode or in SQL view if you prefer to do this that way. And it still works for your transactions. Once you already have them, you can also edit the transactions that you previously put on your grid. And even for the SQL view, you can see how it corresponds with the fields in your grid, how it works, what values are actually asked for you to be input. And also you can adjust whatever fields it's corresponding with, how you can input the information. Well, basically everything from the drop-down menu that you have, it's there for you to adjust. So it's very flexible, and it just waits for you to use it. Once you're in the consumption mode, so when you're actually using a dossier, it looks also very simple. You're just adding all of the actions for your transaction in the fields, and either you're typing in or you're choosing from the selectors that you previously programmed to do so. And then when you click on save, it's already in your grid. It's really super simple, and you can do it directly in your dossier in your library. So it works for you whenever you are and however you want it. And what is very important, if you don't want to use the transactions that you configured before, but you don't really want to delete them, you can just pause them. And it's very useful, because if you want to enable it later on, you can just go back and your transaction is already there. Still editable, of course, so none of the functionalities are lost on you. But if for some reasons you're thinking, okay, this transaction needs to stop for whatever reason you have, you don't really delete all the work that you put into creating it. It's just there waiting for you to use it again.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, transactions is a big one, especially right now we're seeing library web on the screen. A lot of our customers use this right in the mobile experience, which it'll be there on library mobile as well if you need it for mobile applications. I think we can all say that we had a lot of enhancement requests for this, so it's an exciting one that we're finally releasing. I know there was a ton. So if you were waiting for transactions, they are now here. So awesome one. That was number 2. Are we ready for number 3?
We're ready.
All right. One of the questions we get a lot: what is the difference between MicroStrategy Developer and MicroStrategy Workstation?
So I got this one. So this is something that, again, previously, when I was in product management, I also worked on the Workstation product. And this was a question that would come up time and time again, because developer historically has been really this tool that a lot of our administrators and architects were heavily reliant upon in terms of being able to carry out those administrative and architecting functionalities. And not to disparage developer by any stretch of the imagination, it is an awesome tool. It's really powerful. And it allows those, power users of MicroStrategy to get a lot accomplished inside of the platform. But we also understand that that's, this kind of legacy tool and something that we needed to revamp. And so what you can think of Workstation as is basically everything that you love about developer plus more, plus a modern and clean and intuitive user interface, and really some additional tools as well that come from kind of other areas of our platform. So the goal with developer and Workstation, both will allow you to kind of create those schema objects, create and edit application objects. You'll be able to, manage your system and administer users and groups and security roles and privileges and all that fun stuff that comprises a MicroStrategy sort of administrative and architecture experience. But over and above that, Workstation is also going to allow you to create and edit hypercards. That's something that's not available in developer. In addition, you're also going to have the ability to create some new functionality, such as library applications or content groups, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later. And you also have the ability to actually run Python scripts directly inside of Workstation as well. So again, it's still allowing you to do all of those things that you know and love from developer, but in kind of a revamped, better user experience and adding in some of that new modern functionality that we really see our customers requiring as we kind of continue to upgrade our platform through the years.
Yeah. And I think it's just, if you are planning to modernize your organization and get that full, modern suite of products, Workstation is it. It's super performant again, and we love it. Everyone here, we all have it and use it every day. But speaking of Python scripts, this one kind of went right with Workstation. So number 4, the question that we saw was, can we schedule the Python scripts in Workstation?
Well, this is a big point on our roadmap. I'm responsible for Python, so I know, and you can trust me when I say it. We know how important it is, because it's like the automation steps that you can take. You can write your scripts and then put them on schedule to run whenever you're not there to set them to run right now. And we know how important it is. It is very important to us, and it's coming. It's not yet in Workstation, but I can promise you that we are working on it, and we're doing everything in our power to get you this functionality, because we know you want them, you want it, we want it, everyone wants it. So it needs to be there. But I have a demo to show you what you can already do with Python and Workstation, just in case you haven't seen it yet. You can create new scripts with just a few clicks, and we have MicroStrategy Mysterio library dedicated for you to use it. So you can simply just drag and drop everything on your canvas, and we have tooltips telling you how to use functions and classes of this Mysterio library. And you can even hover over there and still have the cursor on the screen, so you can type it in. It's super easy. And if you don't want to create everything step by step from this library, or you don't know how to navigate through it, there is also a search. So you can just type in subscription, for example, and it will show you all the list of everything that you will use for subscriptions. So it's easier for you to drag and drop it onto your canvas. But we also have this script gallery where you have code snippets that you can use. We prepared them so you will know the simple functionalities for all of the Python modules that we released with Mysterio. And then you can just scroll through all of the examples that we have how to use this module, and just copy and paste parts that are interesting for you directly onto the script that you are creating. So it's super easy, because with just small modifications like providing the user ID, for example, or content ID, because it's obvious it needed to be tailored to your needs specifically. And the code snippets are universal, so everyone can use them. But then when you do that, you just copy also the transfers from Mysterio library, so the system knows what you're doing, and you can simply run your script. And that's it. Then you just save it onto the metadata, so it's always there and everyone can access it if you set the ACLs for them to see it. So it's not for everyone if you don't want it, but it can be. And we also have administration workflows, which are end-to-end workflows doing something in particular. The naming tells you what it is, and there is also a commentary section for each of those to tell you. And then again, tailor it to your needs and you can run it freely. We also enable certifying scripts or decertifying. It's super easy, but it also says that the script is safe to use and be reused by other users if they're not administrators. And that's it. You can also upload your scripts if you want to. If you have something prepared before you started to use Workstation, you can still upload it and it's still in the metadata, because Python is Python. We read it, so it's good. But I have also something special for you, a little sneak peek for the functionality that we are going to release in Q3, and it's Python runtimes. It's also a demo prepared for the team in Poland, actually, so I'm very excited about this. For the environment, we're going to have dedicated runtimes. One will be a default MicroStrategy runtime with Mysterio library configured there, but you can also create your own MicroStrategy runtime. And you can choose Python version, add network access, however you want, and you can add external packages to other libraries like pandas or whatever you want directly from the pipeline. So you just type it in with the name, and you can see that you can add more than one package at one time. And then you can administer it. You can also delete it if you decide that you don't want this package anymore. And after you have created the runtime, you can name it however you want. You can also add description, so the users that are going to use it will know what's directly in this runtime. Because by default, it will be administrators' work to provide you the runtime, but then you will be able to choose runtime for each Python script that you are creating. Again, we will have like ACLs and everything, so we can set control over the runtimes, who can use them, so that it's not too much for your users if they're like have one runtime dedicated for them. But everything is coming to Workstation. I'm super excited about this, because I know that people are working with Python and sometimes they're asking, okay, but I cannot add libraries that I'm used to work with because they're not in Mysterio. Well, now you can add them. And well, I must say there is no reason for you not to use Python and Workstation anymore.
I know. So if you're just joining, we are here with Marta, the Python master, who's telling us everything about Python. Remember, we saw what's capable, what's like already in the product today, and what she just showed us is something that's coming in the future. But again, safe harbor, timelines can change. We all know that. But you just got a sneak peek into kind of what we're working on behind the scenes. So super exciting. Thank you for that answer. All right. We're on question number 5. If you're just tuning in, we're going through 10 top questions that we've received from the MicroStrategy community. The next one is, well, there's actually 2. 5 and 6 kind of go together, right? So we have 1, an idea to add a project name or folder path for dossiers and library. And number 6 was another idea for an organizational folder structure in library. So can you guys explain?
All right, looks like Holly is frozen, at least for us. Oh, I think she unfroze. Are you there, Holly?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Hello.
Cool. So we got the first part of your question. Could you explain?
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear the rest. Okay, so just explain, how to organize library. Is there a way to set up, a folder structure, things like that? A lot of people ask for the project names, but do we have any functionality that can answer that question?
Sure. So I got this one. So from the perspective of like a strict formal folder structure as we know it, as it kind of exists in MicroStrategy Web, that's not currently part of library today. However, we have introduced a couple of new features as part of the library experience that can satisfy some of those needs in terms of being able to, bundle content together, to tag content with appropriate content names and groupings. And so that's what we're going to show you through some of these demos today. So the first one is a feature called content groups. And that will essentially allow administrators to create bundles of content for a set group of recipients. So you can think, for example, maybe you have a group at your organization who needs to see 4 or 5 dossiers related to the finance department. An administrator could come in and create that finance content group, add, dossiers A through E and put those in the content group and then share that content group with the finance team so that every single user in the finance user group, when they log into the library, will see that subset of dossiers that are catered and kind of already inside of their library for them to use. In addition to that, though, we've gone one step further, kind of above and beyond those content groups, to create applications. And so applications will essentially allow you to create different corners of library that have slightly different user experiences based on the users that are accessing them. So the way I like to think of it is kind of like having, again, your own little corner of the library, and those content groups can also be part of those applications. So, for example, you can create one for store operations. I think this demo is showing, and you can not only add the specific content groups that the store operations team would need to see, but you can also customize the look and feel of the actual library interface that the store operations team would see when they log into that specific application or that kind of specific link inside of library. And so you can customize things like the landing page, whether or not it's the full library experience, or if it's a specific page of a dossier that that your users are going to continually log into. In addition, you can also format the look and feel of the navigation panel and the buttons that you have on the top of the screen. And if you do have users who are toggling between different applications, all they have to do is click on their user profile in the top right corner, and they'll be able to switch in between those different views of library. That's actually a new feature that was just released in 11.3.6. So definitely an area that's going to be kind of an area of continued development for us, in the sense that it's allowing you to have those custom experiences inside of library without having to rely on custom coding. And so that's definitely something that, especially from my perspective, I've seen a lot of my customers in the federal space starting to use more and more in terms of rolling out content that's catered to those users. So definitely something that we're excited about. But the TLDR, to answer your question, Holly, is no, we don't have structures for folders specifically, but we do have content groups and applications, which hopefully will answer that need as required.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I think, Morgan, you explained it perfectly. I think that content groups we are seeing used a lot, again, because a lot of our customers are used to web folders. One thing about applications too is that right now you're seeing the library interface, which if you want more of a content portal, you can totally deploy this at your company. That's amazing. But you can also use that, right? Morgan kind of mentioned it, a dossier as a home screen, where then you could use, linking to different reports or groups of content as well. So just getting creative with applications. We've seen it become really popular so far. All right. So that was content groups and applications in library. So if you're looking for folders in library, you now have an answer somewhat. Not the same exact thing, but it still works. All right. We are on question number 7, which actually came from Twitter, a question for the product management group. And this is a question related to Hyper. So Nida, you'll probably take this one. Can I link to a dossier from a HyperIntelligence card?
Yes, that's definitely, yes, you can. You can link, you can add links to the card. You can add links to the card's header and even to the images, actually. So if you add images, you can embed links in those images. But now what's really interesting is that these links are not just simple links that you click on them and then you go to a website or you go to a dossier. These are contextual links. So you can build contextual links. Now I'll tell you what it means. So contextual links are like, you're trying to pass the context of the card into your target application. So for example, in contextual dossier linking, you're basically passing the filter condition, you're passing the card's keyword, which is the card name. For example, you're hovering over ABC company, right? So that company name is being passed as a filter to the target dossier. And then you're basically, when the user is navigating from the card to the dossier, they are staying in the context. They're looking at data in the dossier that is around ABC company. So it's not just, a general overview of everything that you're looking at, but it's something that very specific, so that you're again navigating between applications, jumping between applications while staying in the context of that particular information that you were viewing on the card. So that is contextual dossier linking. It's very easy to build. You're just basically clicking on the link, you're choosing your dossier, you're inserting the keyword, and then you're done. But there's also other types of links. There are contextual linking to applications. So for example, you have a Salesforce application or you have Workday application, and you want to pass on the name. For example, you're looking at employee cards and you have Holly over there, right? So you would want to, when you're jumping to Workday, you would want to see Holly's performance review.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting to see, right? So,
5 stars.
Always. So something like that, like, we are basically ensuring that the users stay in the context or, and their same thought process. They're maintaining the same thought process while they are analyzing at data and information. That's the goal here. So yes, in short answer, we do have it in the product and we want people to use it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that, your 2 hyper examples, hypervision, the linking, as well as Marta going over transactions, like the underlying kind of theme there is all about actionable analytics, right? So we see these users being able to take those actions. And one thing about Dossiers is, yes, you can definitely embed that into an existing portal. Nida, can you have like an embedded experience with HyperIntelligence in Office products? What does that look like?
Yeah, you can. So today we have a HyperIntelligence add-in for Microsoft Outlook. So it is like an add-in that you can install, and while you are viewing your emails on a day-to-day basis, the add-in scans through your emails, looks for keywords, and then populates the cards corresponding to those keywords in the add-in panel, so that while you're viewing your emails and you're looking at, for example, customer names or product names or employee names, you're getting all of that data in the side panel automatically without you having to do anything. You're basically looking at your email, you're looking at your hypercards, you're kind of getting extra additional information before you reply to your email. So, that way, you are data informed while you are replying to your coworkers, or you're making a decision in emails. Most of the business decisions are made through emails, right? So that's one thing. And I really like the point that you made that this is basically an actionable way. It's an actionable feature. Basically, it's letting you take actions as quickly as possible. So when you're having links on the cards, they're basically letting you trigger actions in other applications as soon as possible. So if you have to go and approve a code, you click on the link on the card, you jump to Salesforce, you approve the code, and you're done. So it's basically, you don't have to go log into another portal, find the URL. It's just making you do things really quickly as you are looking at information and things like that.
Yeah, super seamless.
Yeah.
All right. Number 8, we have 3 more actually, and then we'll get into the questions. So again, if you have any questions for us, make sure you're putting them in the chat. So number 8 is an idea, and the idea was for vertical scroll bars in Dossier. So do we have an answer for them?
Yeah, I'll take this one. To put a little context to it, we had some requests like, am I going to be able to scroll from my Dossier like I do on web pages or even on Kindle? I can just scroll and scroll and scroll, and it's very useful. And we said, why not? So right now you can actually do this in a Dossier, and it's a little more than you just can do that. You can also adjust it. So there is a functionality that will help you set it up for your Dossier, and also set what is the minimum height before the scroll starts. And there is also a tooltip telling you what this means and how to set it up. So it's all there for you. You can adjust it to your needs and then scroll for your Dossier if you want to.
Yeah, and I think this example on the page, even, I think it's important if you want a scrolling almost web experience, or if you're thinking about, an infographic experience. We usually see those tied together a lot of the time. So you can see this Dossier is really laid out a lot like an infographic, but it also is showing just how creative we've seen Dossier be. And I think that vertical scrolling option is even helping that creativity level.
Yeah, and you can build your Dossier to be very powerful, contain a lot of information that you're using daily, whatever department you're in and whomever you're sharing it with. So if you want to load it up with the information, no one wants to see like super small bar chart or whatever, because it doesn't tell you anything actually. And with all of the links that also Nida mentioned, you can actually adjust one to determine what you see in the other visualization. So if you want to do this, you can just click on one, set it up as like show me only sales from one country, for example, and then you scroll through and you already see the data because it's already linked within your dossier. So it's very powerful, very nice, and you can actually use it like a whole web page if you want to. So we're trying to make it better, and I think this is one of the good features that we have.
Yeah, no, I love it.
One thing to kind of comment on is that, like, I think as we're talking about mobile analytics, I know, Holly, you mentioned the ability to have transactions in grid as part of library mobile, but I think vertical scrolling is also a really beneficial asset in terms of being able to have this concept of building once and deploying everywhere for mobile applications. You have the ability to, add this vertical scrolling. So when you have something on a mobile app, it's going to be more intuitive to kind of scroll through that experience. And that, in addition to, the responsive design editor, where you can kind of group different things together on the dossier page, I think really, again, lowers the time for application development and deployment for our customers who are using both desktop and mobile applications. So definitely something to highlight there as well.
No, a great point. And I think that there are so many tools to Dossier that I think sometimes are undercover, sometimes are not the flashy things that we show you, but there is just so much to leverage if you are building those applications. So definitely take the time to watch, Connect sessions like this, our documentation, etc., because there's just so much. All right, number 9, kind of along the lines of visualizations as well. So an idea to add rotate text or wrap text properties to charts in Dossier. So what do we have for them?
Yeah, I can take that. So we do have it in the product. There's more flexibility in the way how you can show these texts on charts, right? So in the demo, you can see that we have a line chart, and on the x-axis we have labels. So we have an option to customize on how you want to display those labels. If you want it rotated in a certain degree, on it, or you want it horizontal, or you want it vertical. We have 4 options. So as you can see on the screen, there is a custom option, there is horizontal, vertical way of showing, there is an auto option, we set it for you, and then in the custom option there are like 3 ways of how you can set the angle of the text, like you want it 45 or 30 or 60. So that way it's just now you have more control over how you want to show your charts, because it's so important on how your charts look, because that's the way, the more captivating they are, the more easier it is for users to grasp that information and make a decision. So that's the goal here. It's not just that setting. There are so many settings in that panel that you can leverage to make your charts look more captivating and informative.
Yeah. And I think if you're watching this potentially and, your company is still using RSDs or documents, there's that idea of pixel perfect with documents. And I think that Dossier, with this and other features, the drag and drop, all of these different, items, we are getting as close as possible, if not better than, that pixel perfect document options. So just keep that in mind. Again, all these small things that make a world of difference, right? All right. So I know you guys are ready. You've made it to question 10, everyone. Good job. So proud. All right. So we are on our last question. This was our question that we thought was pretty impactful. I think it's an awesome feature that we've brought. Can we share bookmarks with other users in library? So who has taken this one?
I got it. I'll back clean up on this one. But we probably have questions after that, so never mind. But so the short answer is yes, you can share bookmarks with other users. If you are newer to the library experience, bookmarks are essentially a tool that allow you to preserve filter conditions. So much like when reading a normal book and you put a bookmark in between your pages, a bookmark inside of MicroStrategy does the exact same thing, and that it allows you to return to the same view that you were looking at previously without having to reset all of those filter conditions. So bookmarks can be really helpful when you have a lot of conditions to select from, or if you need to preserve a very specific view. But in terms of sharing them, all you have to do is go to that bookmark panel on the top left of your screen. You'll choose the bookmark that you'd like to share, see that little share icon, and you can either add recipients who will receive a notification inside of their own libraries that say something along the lines of, Morgan shared this bookmark with you, and then they can actually see the exact same thing that you were looking at, so you have an exact same view of that data and those filter conditions. Or alternatively, as part of that share menu as well, there's also a share link. So if you're just creating a share link to be able to send that dossier out to a larger group of people, maybe you don't have everyone in your library, etc. That's also another option as well. So lots of flexibility in terms of being able to collaborate inside of those dossiers and share that content more easily with your colleagues.
Yeah, and I love this one too. So we also do have now subscriptions, right, in library. So subscribing to Dossier. But what Morgan's talking about, these bookmarks actually act almost as if it was a subscription when you share it, right? Because if that first user changes anything about, the definition of the bookmark, all the end users it was shared with see that same thing reflected, which is super powerful as well. But yeah, awesome. So question 10, check. Good job, guys. And then we did have 2 just additional questions that, again, are probably more roadmap related. So you'll be able to speak to what you can. If you can't, that's fine. For the viewers, remember that everything's under safe harbor, meaning that, timelines might change even if we have it planned. So just keep that in mind. So the first one, there's 2 of them. We've been thinking a lot about Dossier templates or reusable objects. Is this something that the product team is looking to do? Whoever wants to comment.
I'll take
Morgan.
So,
Morgan, go. Yeah.
I love how you reminded everyone of the safe harbor, Holly. That's very product management of you. Your inner product manager is coming out again.
Yes. Showing.
But yes, so coming from being in the solutions engineering role, a lot of my customers have been asking for the ability to have some of these templates and to be able to reuse specific formatting and branding inside of those dossiers. And while this is not something that's currently in the product, there are plans in the works to have dossier templates. So I think this is particularly important from the perspective of reusability, and in terms of creating new applications, you don't want to have to reinvent the wheel every single time. And again, keeping in mind that MicroStrategy has really always been designed to be this enterprise software and this platform that is designed to be scalable for our customers. We want to do as much as we can to help you decrease your development time and make sure that you're also, still sticking to that corporate branding, still having that correct look and feel, and also making sure that you're getting the actual analytics that your customers or your end users want to see into their hands more rapidly. And so short answer is yes, it's coming. So keep an eye out in upcoming releases for more of that flexibility in terms of dossier templates.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, those will be super important for app development as well. So it'll be great when it does come out. Okay. And second one, what do we think is the future of HyperIntelligence, which is a loaded question, Nita. So let's see what you think.
I'll try to take out my globe over here to kind of see what the future is. But yeah, on a serious note, I think what we're looking to do with HyperIntelligence is we are looking to extending it to a broader set of applications. So today we support browsers, we support Chrome and Edge browsers, and then we support the Outlook add-in, right? The Outlook Office 365 tool. But what we want to do in the future is probably extend it to Excel, if that's a need in the market, right? If that's what we are hearing from our customers, then Excel is a top choice. Then Teams, Microsoft Teams is picking up, Slack is picking up, business communication apps are kind of replacing emails these days. So there are just so many ways of where we can inject HyperIntelligence, because HyperIntelligence is meant to augment your existing applications. So it's not something that is a standalone product and you can use. It's meant to augment. So whatever application you have that you currently use, that's something we want to augment and support with, MicroStrategy, trusted insights and data with HyperCards. So that I would say is the future. Second is, more flexibility in card design. We want every person in the world to be able to create a HyperCard. It need not be a business intelligence expert or an analyst with a master's degree or anything. We want anyone like a project manager at a construction site to be able to, I need my team to be data driven or data informed, and they should just pull up HyperCards, create it, and then deploy it. So we want it to be that easy. So that's our goal, and I see that's where we want to go with HyperIntelligence.
Intelligence everywhere.
I remember we had this contest in Poland, create your HyperCards, and someone did it for who has what pet in the office. So actually you can create it for whatever purpose you want. So you can just, see it in your Outlook, and then you're not just saying the person personal information, what they're doing in the company, but maybe do they have a dog, or maybe they're a cat person?
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's always something, it's a conversation starter. Even if you want to, Slack someone you don't know yet, it's like, hey, how are you? And then you can sneak into the conversation, like, I like dogs. Do you like dogs? And then, you're connected with this person. You can build it up. And I think it's nice. Yeah, as you said, it's super easy.
Yeah, and actually that reminded me of the fun fact section we have in our internal employee hypercards, and I get to know so much about our coworkers, and that's a great conversation starter. It's like, I heard like you do scuba diving, or a professional or something like that. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, and I think Hyper is, once you sit down and you think across, workflows that different user groups have, it's a lot easier to think that way and think about how the card could augment a user workflow than, it's trying to add information. But there are so many like workflows and daily workflows that can be so much better and so much more efficient, I think, just with a simple hypercard. So make sure to think about that if you're watching this. Okay, so everyone, thank you. You finished all the questions, but now there's more. There's more to answer. So we're going to go through a few Q&A that are coming in on social media, and then we have a lot going on in the chat. So prepare yourselves. First, Matt from California asks, can you migrate content in Workstation? And is there a new object manager in Workstation? That's our first question.
Let me take this one, since I told you that I'm responsible for migration. So thank you for this question. I can shine here. Okay, so it's not really out of the box yet, so it's not a full feature, but we have it released as a preview. So you can already go into Workstation, enable preview features, and you can start migrating your content right now. And from Object Manager, it was pretty closed. Not everyone could really use it. You had a little set of privileges, and only like powerful users, let's say, were able to move content, because it's moving this across projects or environments, and it goes into the metadata. So it's a powerful tool already. And we wanted to extend it a little and make more steps. So then you have a person who can actually create a package content to be moved to another environment or project. And then there is the second person who actually has this more powerful privileges, and this person migrates it. So then if you're just a developer and you just want to put everything into your package and say, hey, can you migrate it next Thursday or something, because this is the content that I want to move across the environments. Right. There is your administrator or powerful user, whomever you choose to be this person, and then they are moving the content. I would really love to show you the demo. I'm sorry it's on the chat and I don't have it, but soon it will be coming as out of the box. Right now, as I said, go and enable preview features, and you can start playing around with it. And if you have any feedback, also let us know, because we're trying to change it and make it the best possible. So yeah, short answer, yes, it is kinda already there because it's a preview, and it will be as a full functionality. So
amazing. All right, love it. All right, and then we have, this is a question that I love. It's coming actually from the UK. So are reports coming to library, and will we be able to view reports there?
I can do this one. So yes, they're coming. I think they're actually a preview feature right now. So you can actually view them and start editing reports, which is really the exciting part, because we wanted to make sure that as we're migrating some of that editing functionality into library, which if you haven't used it yet, definitely encourage you guys to try out the library editor. Super powerful, has essentially all the functionality as web, but just in that nice clean library interface. But we've since integrated the report editing functionality, and that I think is coming out in full release in September of this year, and kind of the kind of September 11.3, I guess 7 release it would be.
Safe harbor. Safe harbor.
What'd you say?
Safe harbor.
Safe harbor. Yeah, safe harbor. But that's the plan. But that being said, this is actually kind of near and dear to me, because as somebody who works with our federal customers, one of the big requirements for our FedRAMP certification was having the ability to kind of have the full suite of our functionality inside of a more modern architecture, which is what library sits on. And so we needed to have reports inside of library in order to get that FedRAMP certification. So it not only represents kind of the modernization of our product, but also our commitment to our federal customers, which is fun for me specifically.
Yeah. Morgan loves the Fed segment, and we do too. All right, awesome. So now we're actually going to take one from the chat. This one is from Scott. So Scott, if you're still watching, do you have to purchase transaction services to use transactions in Dossier? Yeah. Does anyone know that answer?
I'm not sure, but in terms of licensing, we already had transactions before. So we're trying to create new functionalities that stays in line with the licensing you have. If it's something that we are revamping, as it was mentioned, when we're transferring from developer to workstation. So we're trying not to make too many issues for you to start using our tools, because if you could configure transactions before, we don't want to stop you right now. It should be the functionality you still get. So I won't tell you exactly what it is in the licensing, because I don't remember right now, but definitely we can check and answer later in the chat or the next MicroStrategy meeting like this. Definitely, it should also be mentioned in our documentation, so you can always go to our website and check the documentation for transactions, and all of the privileges you need or licensing that you need to purchase should be there.
Yeah, I was about to say there is definitely a privilege.
They can talk to the account executive or whoever is managing their account, and they'll be able to fill them in.
I would bet money that it's under the server transaction license as like server distribution or kind of those other categories. Don't quote me, but I would bet money on
You're
it.
on camera.
Yeah, no, it's here. It's live. All right. Yeah. Scott, just check with the AE. I know there's privileges. I'm just not sure about specific pricing or anything. So they'll be able to tell you more. All right. Next question is actually coming in from New Jersey, which, Nida, you love New Jersey. Can I white label HyperIntelligence cards for my organization?
Yes, you can. White labeling is actually one of my favorite features, because we've got a lot of feedback from people who are using HyperIntelligence that we want to rebrand the extension. Currently, it shows the MicroStrategy logo. It points to a specific environment and so on. So we wanted to just make life easier for all of them. So we created an easy-to-use interface on Workstation, actually, that and it's a very UI-based interface. Like it's an interface where you don't have, it's no code basically. So you can just add your own name, organization name to the extension. You can add your own description of your extension. You can add images of your logos or whatnot. You can even pre-populate the extension with your environment URL, MicroStrategy environment URL, before you deploy to your organization. So that way, onboarding new users will be much easier. So they don't have to go and configure any URL or anything like that. They just have to click on the extension that basically is the logo of their company, and they will be able to leverage the product. So it is, and we also have some security settings in that as well. They can tweak it to suit their security needs, and yeah, they will generate the extension file. And I would say, like, the admins or developers, they are the I would say personas here who would be generating the extension file, and it's basically it's on them to kind of host it on the Chrome Web Store, or they would have different ways of publishing it to their end users. And once they do that, I would say the onboarding experience is super seamless after they rebrand. So that's a very cool feature. Unfortunately, I don't have a demo today, but it's if you just Google white labeling HyperIntelligence, you will see content, and it's a pretty cool feature.
And you will see Nida explaining it most likely with your background. All right, awesome. Next question. So again, we're taking a few from the chat. Marta, hopefully you can speak to this one. So this is from RK. Can we have object level security or security filters within Dossier?
Well, yeah, object level security is controlled by access control list. So we call that ACLs as well. And you can set it for basically any object in your metadata, like saying, okay, this person can only view my content. This person is also able to change it, and then someone has full control over this object. And if you don't have permissions to even see the content, you will not be able to find it. It doesn't matter if you're using Workstation or you're still in developer, if you're going to library or you're using web. We have one platform, and we are really strict on control and security. We're trying to make every time we're creating something new, we're taking additional steps to make sure that this is more secure than it was before, for example, or that we have our top level security for basically everything that we have. So yes, you can set object level security for everything that is our metadata. And yes, I hope I answered the question fully.
No, yeah, definitely. I think look to that. We definitely also have row level security. So just items like that to make sure that your users are only seeing what you want them to, based on requirements. All right, next one we have from Len. Will we be able to tweak line charts to look even better? So example, control line thickness within a chart, more rounded than straight, basically making charts more visually pleasing. That's a good question, and more of an idea, because I don't know if we have that today. I don't know if any.
I don't
think so.
Yeah.
Do you know?
No, even I don't think we have that, but that's something
it's a great idea.
Consider.
Yeah, and again,
we're trying to work on like new visualization or improve the visualization that we have. So whenever there is a need, we're trying to respond as fast as possible. So if there's something that you want to have, we always remember, and even if you don't see it like very close on our roadmap, it's not like we forget. We're really trying to get all of those cool features that we're working on as soon as possible. But definitely, we know visualizations are part of how our customers communicate their content between each other or between their customers as well. And so we're trying to make it as usable and good looking as possible. So if you want to have additional functionalities because you're using it and you're lacking it right now, this is something that we search for in our chats and discussions with the customers or meetings like this, online meetings, and we just take our notes and then put it on our roadmap whenever we can.
Yeah, we love it though. We're always trying to make things look better. So good comment there. All right, last one. So we are at 11:55. So a good almost full hour of conversation here. Last one is coming from Greg in Nevada. He is saying or asking, are information windows available in Dossier? So another good one that we've solved, right? Who wants to comment there?
I got it. Yes is the short answer. So I think over the past year, really, there's been a lot of additions to the Dossier editing interface that were, the result of a lot of enhancement requests and a lot of, requirements from our customers in order, especially to move from documents into the Dossier product. So you'll see now that we have panel stacks, we have information windows, we have additional visualizations, we have micro charts, like transactions just came out, right? So we're really focused on investing and really making sure that Dossier product remains super easy to use, but also has all of that additional functionality that allows you to have more of that interactive sort of web-like experience, again, without having you have to code anything or any sort of high level requirement to actually build something really compelling. And so, yes, information windows are there. I've built a couple really cool dossiers where we have like panel stacks that are targeting an information window, and there's a hypercard that pops up on top of them, and it's like boom, 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 like analytics are happening everywhere. So definitely take advantage of it. I think it was released in the GA release last year. I'm not quite sure, but it is in the product now. So definitely encourage you to take advantage.
I think update 4. So yeah, it'd be 2021 update 4, I believe. So make sure to do that. And again, okay, so thank you to you three. That was great. Lots of information. So much, I think, to think about in terms of, what's available in Dossier to build those application, workflows, super seamless. And then again, all of those actionable options to bring and deliver insights, which is crazy. We're all about intelligence everywhere. Nita was kind of honing in on that with Hyper, but it's so true. I think we just want as many users as possible to have the data in their hands. So thank you all. Thanks everyone for viewing and sticking in there with us. And we will see you soon for the next Connect, probably about embedding. So get ready, and we'll chat soon. But thanks everyone. Thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks everyone. Bye.